Hey! So I'm back and I'm filming a beauty video for you all. This is the first kind of beauty related thing I've done in London, in uni. Woohoo! I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm filming another budget beauty video. My last budget beauty video was quite popular, so I thought that, you know, people do want to find ways to find cheap products that are just as good as more expensive products. And I have got an array of dupes and wonderfulness for you all. So the first thing I got was this contour palette, and it was off Amazon. It cost me $3.99, and you've got the concealers, so like the green and the purple, and I guess you could call that a highlighter. I haven't used that, but it's sort of shimmery, so it's probably a highlighter. And then different degrees of brown. This was $3.99, which is a bargain, and it is actually like a cream formula, so you can, like, you know, mess around with it. The way I do it is I will put my foundation on and then I will use it after I've used my foundation and blend it in. Honestly, for the like how much it costs, this is incredible. I know they sell them on eBay for a lot less than that. I don't know if they're the same product. I'm gonna assume they probably are. But I will give you the link to what I bought it from because I can vouch for that link. Really cheap, especially if you're just wanting to mess around with contour. I know you can get those Anastasia Beverly Hills ones, which are like 40 quid. But I just wanted to have a little play around with it and see like how I felt with it. When it comes to contour, definitely if you're a newbie to it like I am, give this a try, see how you feel with it. The next thing I'm going to talk about is this. Now, I have seen people raving about this everywhere, and I have to say I've been using this for a fair few months now. The reason why I'm going to mention it now in relation to like budget beauty that I've discovered at uni, I have had this bottle, and you can see how much is left in it, for about a month and a half, I want to say. Yeah, nearly 2 months. And I'm astounded that it has lasted this long. It is the Garnier Micellar, I don't really know how to say it, cleansing water, and it's for sensitive skin. It is just generally brilliant, especially if you want to get your makeup off as fast as possible. And the bottles are huge, like you can see it in proportion to my face. The next thing I am going to talk about is this little bottle, and it is the Technique Primer. Now you may be looking at this thinking, this looks really familiar, Hannah. Yeah, it is a complete benefit dupe, that is why. The way it looks, the way it is on your skin, just the formula in general is pretty much exactly the same for the Benefit Primer. I find that one of Benefit's only products which I would personally say is worth the money is Benefit Roller Lash. I have a copy of their brow kit, which is by Sleek. I have quite a few dupes of their products, and personally, from what I've tried, they're exactly the same. I needed a new primer. My last one was like £36, I think, which is extortionate. This was $3.99. You put it on your skin, it kind of, it goes a little bit tacky, like most primers do, and it has kind of like a slight highlight in it. So when you put your foundation on, you've got kind of like a radiant glow, but not like glowy. It's just like, it just sits nicely on your skin basically. The next thing I'm going to talk about was a happy accident, and it was this Rimmel Kate Moss lipstick. You can see the shade here. It's kind of like a really natural nude. I was going to a blogging event and I was wearing Velvet Teddy. I was out and about in London and I didn't bring my lipstick with me, which is like literally the bane of your life when that happens, because then you're like, well, I'm gonna have to take my lipstick off then. So instead of doing that, I went into Rimmel. I went into Boots and I was like, okay, I'll just buy a completely different lipstick and take it off and put a different lipstick on. I was looking at the Rimmel Kate Moss lipsticks because they are pretty much one of my favourite products that I can find in a drugstore or whatever you call it. This is a complete dupe. I'm just going to show you this Kate Moss lipstick, which is shade 03, next to MAC Velvet Teddy on my hand, so that you can see what I mean by the colour. You can barely see the difference. The MAC one is the top one, and I'd say it's slightly darker. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a brand, and they are called W7. I recently found them because I was strolling through Amazon. Amazon makeup shopping is kind of like a guilty kind of passion of mine, and I found some stuff which I think that you are all going to really like by the brand. The first one I'm going to talk about is this little pot of joy. It is called the Honolulu by W7 bronzer, and you may be thinking again, Hannah, you know what, this looks really familiar. Yes, that is because it is a dupe of the Hoola bronzer. You get the bronzer with this little brush, which I personally have not used because I have better bronzer brushes, but really it's not that objectful. Like if you're after a cheap little brush to just go whoop, 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 then yeah, this is fine. The product itself was £3.35, which is so cheap. I will say though, I can't lie, when this came in the post it had cracked and gone, you know when you get a powder or whatever and it breaks, and yeah, for £3.35 that doesn't bother me, but then at the same time it's kind of annoying. I would say if you're after a good benefit dupe of Hoola bronzer, which is obviously one of the most popular bronzers ever, then give this a try. The next thing I'm going to talk about is two eyeshadow palettes which are from the same brand, W7. Now these are like my babies and I'm so happy I found these because they are Urban Decay dupes. Whoop whoop. I swear there's so many Urban Decay dupes out there, but these are really good. The first one that I've got is the W7 Lightly Toasted, and that is a complete dupe of Naked One. I'm sure you can see from the colours. You do get a brush with it. Brush is not very good, kind of understandable. This was £3.93 for a full eyeshadow set, and genuinely the product is just as good as Naked. And I know I say this and people are like, oh, it isn't, it isn't, it isn't. But I've got the Naked 2, and although I do love it and I do use it and the pigmentation is really good, the shades in this are identical. Like, for example, Half Baked is in Naked 1 and Naked 2, so I can judge it on that alone, and these shades next to each other are exactly the same, and I wouldn't say personally Naked stays on for that much longer than a drugstore eyeshadow. They also have Naked 2 dupe, which I can't remember the name of, and the Naked 3 and the Smoky Eye Palette dupes. I did a blog post on these shadows alone, and I'll leave that down below and you can have a look at them in more detail, and I've also got links to all of the different types that they do. The next one is by the same brand but a different concept. This one is called In the City and it's a dupe of Naked 2. I've actually bought the one which is a dupe of Naked 1 as well because I needed more matte eyeshadows. I will leave the blog post below that I wrote on these shadow palettes. So this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love finding little products like this and just showing them to you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And of course, I've got to say a huge thank you for 1K. It literally means so much to me. You have no idea. I squealed like a complete baby when it happened. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye! 16. I once accidentally dyed my hair black.